The Film Crickets are intended for mature audiences. Any guests on the Film Crickets do not necessarily share the same opinions as the Film Crickets.
Film Crickets, chirping about movies.
It's time for the Film Crickets with Jay Fortier, Chris Martineau, and Melanie Howerton. On this week's episode, Jay, Chris, and Melanie review the 1988 heist comedy film, A Fish Called Wanda.
All right, I apologize. I'm really sorry. I apologize unreservedly. I offer a complete and utter retraction. The imputation was totally without basis in fact and was in no way fair comment and was motivated purely by malice. And I deeply regret any distress that my comments may have caused you or your family. And I hereby undertake not to repeat any such slander at any time in the future.
Does it stand the test of time? Let's find out. Your Film Crickets are on now.
No. I'm laughing. All right, hold on. Everybody, this is the Film Crickets. Welcome. My name is Jay Fortier. I'm along with my good friends and co-hosts, Chris Martineau and Melanie Howerton.
Hi.
Howdy. I'm laughing because that you would think that we were just rolling about this film throughout, like, you know, when we watched it like a week ago.
Yep.
Because that I think that was the first point in the film where I smirked.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably like, we're probably going to get a lot of like thumbs down.
Yeah.
When we don't like a film like that everyone else loves.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
we sort of like, you know, like I'm just going to come out and say our, Melanie, you weren't there for it. Our, Star Trek, I think we have like 6 likes and 5 thumbs down. Like,
Oh, really?
50%.
For what? For motion picture?
Star Trek, yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah,
guys
it's
did
boring.
most of the turn.
No, but like I'm saying, like apparently we offended people, you know?
Oh,
like,
well.
well, I'm sorry. Like,
Oh,
we
but
weren't
look
even
out
that
for
mean to it.
if you offend a Trekkie. Oh no.
No. I'm saying like we weren't even that mean. All I said was
Yeah.
like at the beginning, I was like, it's controversial, like because like a lot of people didn't like it that much, and
Yeah.
you'd swear I just like lambasted the whole thing. So we just watched A Fish Called Wanda.
Fish Called Wanda.
A week ago.
Yep, we did.
And
Let's go history here. I have a longer history with Fish Called Wanda than I think anybody else. So I'll go first. I have a long history with Fish Called Wanda. This was a grandma pirated classic. I went to go see this in the theater. I know that for a fact. I went with my sister. The reason I went with my sister is because, and I think this is where the movie, doesn't hold up. I think where the movie doesn't hold up because we're coming on the tail end of a big boom in Monty Pythonism. Like, to me, that like the cultural impact of Monty Python and the Flying Circus were like, and John Cleese and Eric Idle and all those guys, I think were kind of at almost at kind of like a not a boiling point, but it was still in the zeitgeist. People still were like aware of it. So I went to go see this movie because of that. I know exactly why. My sister really liked it. Everybody at my school was watching Life of Brian and Holy Grail and Meaning of Life, and that was big. That was in high rotation. So I went to go see the movie, and then I watched it on a pirated copy, and I watched it a lot, and I quoted it a bunch. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I'm serious. I thought it was funny, and here, we'll get to more of that later. It kind of brings into suspect, like, I know that in the 80s, like, our parents basically let us watch anything. We're like latchkey kid generation, and they're like, they'll be fine. You know what I mean? I don't know. There are some scenes in here. I don't know that. Like, is this an R? Melanie, is this thing an R?
I didn't write that down.
All right,
Look it
it's
up.
R?
Because you have to read it anyway. Is it R?
Yeah, it should be. It is.
check, but,
It is indeed
I
R.
haven't.
Okay, so
Okay.
bottom line. So that's my history with it. Hadn't seen it in decades, and first time I saw it was last week again. So, Melanie, I think you have more of a history than Jason. You saw it how many times?
Once.
Once. So we saw it once back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, probably because of cable. I had cable.
Okay.
I do remember my mom liking it, which
Okay.
was weird because when I told her that we were doing it, she said, "Oh, that's cute." But then when I told her, how I felt about the film, and then she goes, "Oh yeah, it wasn't that good." I'm like, "You liked it. You said you liked
Yeah.
it." But I don't know if she had only seen it once or twice back in the day when it was on cable.
Okay.
And I'm thinking that I probably only watched it once just because I just didn't think it was that funny. But I also don't think Monty Python is funny, and I don't think Mr. Bean is funny.
There you go.
So,
So British
at all,
humor is
in
not
any
your
way.
thing.
British humor is not me. No.
Yeah, and the thing about
I love
this,
comedy, but it's not funny enough to me. Like
the weird part about British humor, and Monty Python is the extreme case of British humor, but part of their gig was the
Benny
Brits
Hill.
is that they are picking on themselves and their own pretentiousness and how stuck up they are and how they don't show their feelings about anything. And that was part of the thing, like seeing people do goofy shit, but seeing them do it so Britishly was kind of their deal. And here, this is an Americanized movie written by John Cleese that I think is trying to make it more digestible, but still have that, we Brits are ridiculous, but you Americans are also ridiculous in your own way.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I mean? But if you don't, that's not funny, it's not funny. Jay, what's your deal? Tell me about when's the last time you saw A Fish Called Wanda?
A week ago. This show got pushed back a week, so I anything I don't remember is because I saw it once a week ago.
Okay. Did you avoid it?
All right, let's start with I saw the trailer, or kept seeing bits and pieces. First off, the name doesn't appeal to me. Like, it just never drew me.
It's quirky.
Whatever. No, I'm just saying, like, it just was like, well, that's odd. And then the trailer, I don't know if I saw a full trailer, but every trailer I would see on TV would show the guy with his French fries sticking out of his nose and screaming. And I was like, yeah, I don't see why everybody.
I don't see why
I was never drawn in.
Okay.
And I kept going, oh yeah, I'll see it someday. Oh yeah, I'll check it out. And then it never happened. And you us three try to do free movies, like meaning like if we have the same service, we do what we can because it gets expensive to keep renting films.
Yeah.
You know, when we were doing random, it was like, holy crap, another one. So I was like, oh, I've never seen this, and people have raved about it for so long, and I can force myself to watch it now, because I would never force myself to watch it if it weren't for this.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the same boat.
So I was like, let me do this for myself, sort of, and then it gives me that opportunity, and I'll have no choice but to finish it.
Right, like me watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Exactly.
Hey.
or Clue again.
I thought we were all friends.
No, that's never going away.
Too, so we're all right.
That's never going away.
I guess not. All right. So I watched it last week, and I have a sound effect that a little sound clip to sum up my feelings.
Meh.
But the TV gave me the impression that
We said meh. M-E-H. Meh.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I felt the entire film.
So you chuckled how many times?
I smirked during the I'm sorry.
Yep. Okay.
Section. I think I laughed when the guy was laughing at the fact that the woman died of a heart attack.
Okay. All right.
Because everyone else was all somber and putting a blanket over her face, and he's cracking up because he finally killed her.
Right.
But that was about it. It wasn't like, there wasn't a lot of moments, and I just kept going, when's it going to happen? And I did laugh when John Cleese was naked and had to cover up with the photo.
Sure.
He's stripping and the people walk in on him.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
And it's a family.
Melanie, did you laugh?
I remember lightly laughing at one moment, but I literally cannot even tell you right now.
Okay.
What it was. Might have been the same thing that he said. I just with the little pillow thing. I can't remember any. I know I did for one piece of it, but that's it. Yeah.
Here's the thing, like I didn't laugh a lot, and to me, when I was trying to laugh watching this movie this time, I was trying to remember when I laughed at the same things the last time I saw it, because I did watch it a lot, because it was just like a bonding moment between myself and my sister and my brother, because they liked Monty Python. So to me, it was like an inroad with them and their sense of humor, and I just remember I'm like, oh, I laughed at that. This scene that's coming up, I laughed. Yeah. And then I watch, I'm like, I'm not laughing. Why am I not laughing? So I'm not going to do the IMDb breakdown, right? We do, not going to. Does someone want to volunteer summing up what happens in the movie? All of the intricate backstabbing double crossings that happen. Does anybody want to try?
No.
No?
You're good at that, Chris, so you do.
I am? Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Professor, teacher.
Okay.
You know why? I'm serious. It's literally a week ago. I saw it once.
Okay.
didn't do my damnedest to hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I kind of feel the same.
So this is me trying to sum it up. If you want to say, so if somebody came to you and said, "What's the movie about?" Right? And you knew it, you'd have to say something along the following lines. A woman, there are 4 people involved in a heist. One of them's a stutterer. One of them's a woman. The other person is the woman's boyfriend who's being her brother.
Pretending to be her brother.
Pretending to be her brother because she's actually involved with an older man who's a British person who is involved in the heist. 2 of those people are American. 2 of them are British. I don't know if the older man is the brother of one of them, but one of them has a stutter. The other one is dumb but thinks he's smart because he reads Nietzsche and can quote philosophy. And the woman involved is double-crossing everybody.
Yeah.
She's only, basically, her gimmick is she's going to use her sexuality to forward her own selfish desires, which is to basically get this heist and then, we assume, quit the business. So in the long story short, they knock over a bank that, and they're supposed to bring the diamonds back to a safe. And they're going to, the woman and the person who's being played. See how this is tough? Is trying to play the brother. They're going to take the diamonds, but the other person took it first. And then that person gets put into jail. But as they're doing the robbery, an older woman with 4 dogs witnesses it. So they end up in jail. And then an English barrister is going to represent the jewelry thief. The jewelry thief knows where the diamonds are, but they don't. The other 2 people want to get to the diamonds, but really she only wants to get to the... It's just a disaster. And eventually
I literally forgot why they were trying to kill the woman. I was like, why are they trying to kill this lady?
Because she witnessed the
I did remember that. When he drove by and she saw the guy in the car that went to jail,
The end of the day, Jamie Lee Curtis, and by the way, this is my inroad to Jamie Lee Curtis. I did not know Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween. I knew Jamie Lee Curtis from this movie. So for a long time in my upbringing, I thought she was a comic actress. Because she does do funny things in the movie. Sort of. At least back in the day. I didn't know her as a scream queen. Yes.
I just wanted to say that I love her to death, and so does my mom, but we both really didn't care for her that much in this movie. And the reason why is just because of the whole sexuality thing and the way that... I mean, so she likes Kevin Kline, which is pretending to be her brother. Mm-hmm. And the reason why she likes him is because he can talk French, but he says stuff like... Italian. Italian. But he says stuff like pepperoni, mozzarella, like the dumbest things. And it supposedly gets her so hot that she has to roll around all over the place.
Yeah, it's dumb.
And then so she meets the other guy. And I mean, this is not Jamie Lee's fault because she's an amazing actress. I freaking love her. It's just the stupid role that she had. Mm-hmm. And then when she meets the other guy, what's his name?
John Cleese.
Okay, John Cleese. And then she was like, oh, do you speak Italian? But no, he speaks Russian. Mm-hmm. So when he starts speaking Russian, I hated that part where, I'm sorry, there's no way in hell this could do this to any girl in the entire universe. Yep. So he's just, you might think, oh, okay, he sounds sexy. But he's speaking Russian in this house that they kind of were supposed to have a little affair in together. And she's rolling around on the floor in her dress all over the place. And I'm like... That would not do that to anybody. Mm-hmm. It's just whoever wrote that, I hated that. Yep. Because it was just to me the dumbest thing. I hated that part of it. I hated this role for her. Yep. I feel bad that she had to do that for this role, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is that I don't it's confusing. The parts that I thought were funny then are confusing now. What are we trying to say about Jamie Lee Curtis, whatever her name is in the movie? I'm sorry, I don't remember. But what are we trying to say
Wanda.
about her? Like,
Wanda.
Wanda. Oh, that was stupid. I'm so sorry. What are we trying to say about her? She's basically getting the better on men because men are thinking with the wrong organ. That's her deal. And more power to you because we're dumb. So if we can be manipulated, particularly by someone that's smart, and you put that in a movie, like, I could buy it. But then, is she vulnerable or not? She's vulnerable. She seems to be very strong, or at least is in control, using her own, like, her own leverage, sexual leverage against men who are only thinking with one organ. But then she's powerful that way, but then can be completely submissive because you throw a trick at her by either speaking Italian or speaking Russian. That's dumb. So you're undermining anything that any kind of credit you're giving her, basically, right? Because she could run the show.
Yeah.
She could absolutely run the show because she has the effect on these dumb characters, and they're all
And
dumb.
she did start falling for him.
Yeah.
Because of the certain things that he was saying to her, where she felt like, oh, this is really a person that cares about me versus the other guy. But then again, that whole Russian speaking and her rolling on the floor all over the place, I'm like, okay.
So the other part I would say, so we're kind of, again, we're going through the movie because there's not much going on here, is that she's trying to seduce the lawyer of the person that stole the jewels because he wants her to, again, it's so convoluted. She wants him to tell her where the diamonds are, and she assumes that the criminal is going to tell John Cleese, who's the lawyer, where the diamonds are. But unfortunately, she's a witness, so he can't talk to her. So she has to try to get him into bed to talk to her, and so she's seducing him to try to get one over on everybody, so she can get the diamonds and leave. She doesn't want to deal with any of these people. She wants to get the diamonds and leave. But because he's from a suppressive British marriage and can't express his feelings ever, I mean, his family is miserable. Mm-hmm. They're terrible. And he's just basically doesn't get to live his life anymore. And he's basically having this midlife crisis where he sees her as an out. So she falls for him a little because he's actually nice. Mm-hmm. But he's deeply in love with her, that he ditches everybody. And whatever. You decide you want to do that, fine, whatever.
His whole family, his kids and everything.
Yeah, but I mean, my point is that is anybody, and I never thought this when I watched this a lot, so this is for me. When I first saw this and I was younger, I legitimately thought, oh, they fell in love with each other. This is now happily ever after. Now that we're our ages, is there any way she's not going to double cross him? Whenever they get to Buenos Aires, like they're going to take the diamonds and do it at Buenos Aires. Do you think they're going to stay together forever?
I don't know. I mean,
I got no inkling that like what they were feeling was true love. I felt like they were involved in an exciting situation, and eventually they would drive each other crazy.
I don't know. I mean, they wrote it in the title cards at the end.
I know.
But hold on. So they said that as part of the story. So I mean, and the other part is like their sweetness or whatever together was more believable than, let's say, her and Kevin Kline's.
Oh, sure, I'll give you that. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
like you would, they're just crazy. Like
sure.
So yeah, no, I bought it. I mean,
I just, to me, it's like it was infatuation more than love. Because predicated on the idea of someone, these two, someone is actually talking to me. That's all John Cleese was really. Seemed like that's why he fell for her. Someone's actually listening to my stories.
Right.
And that only lasts for so long. You eventually have to have a relationship, So let's talk about another reason why the movie doesn't. Guess what? It doesn't hold up.
It does look old. It does look kind of aged. It is, to me, kind of boring.
Sure.
Not a whole lot going on.
Yeah. So and again, I don't mean
too much going on.
I have to bring it up. There's too much going on, and the story itself is a little too complicated for what it's trying to be. And this is my point: is that this movie is trying to be a Looney Tunes cartoon, and I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. It's all cartoonishly out of control, and I'm sorry if this is going to be a sticking point. I'm not trying to bum anybody out, but this movie tries to successfully convince me that killing 4 dogs is funny.
So the guy killed 4 dogs?
He's trying to get at so the person with the stutter, also something not going to fly these days, is trying to kill the old lady. And every time he goes to try to kill the old lady, he kills one of her dogs instead by accident.
Oh, okay, I do remember her having only 1 dog left.
Yeah, so she starts with 4, and every time he tries to kill her, she has 1 less dog. Until eventually, one of the times, a cinder block falls on the dog and smushes it. Not so much that you see guts and whatnot, but it's almost like Roadrunner, like when Wile E. Coyote gets run over by a truck and you see like treads. It's like that kind of squishing. And it's just like this movie is actually trying to convince me that like no other movie, like they would like shy away from that. And like, no, we're going to go ahead and say it. And it's like, when I first saw it, I thought it was funny. And now I saw it now and I'm like, well, not that I'm offended by it because it's trying to do something goofy, because this movie's a Looney Tunes cartoon. No, because it's Looney Tunes.
But they weren't showing a bloody dog. Like,
I know that, right? But we're still killing a dog.
No,
You know
no,
what
I
I mean?
get it.
But and again, I'm not offended by it because they didn't do it like gross, but it's still. Another thing is at the end of the movie, Kevin Kline gets run over by a steamroller.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's stuck
Looney
in
Tunes.
cement that wasn't dry, but then suddenly became dry. We assume he gets run over by a steamroller, and then we see him hanging onto a plane. That's a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah.
It is.
That's bananas. That's bananas.
But see, that's the thing. That's why, like, British humor to me is like, and I don't want anyone hating me for this because I know, like, even my mom, she likes British humor. Her and her friend watch Monty Python all the time. They love it. It's just never been that funny to me because it's just, to me, I don't know. I guess it takes me a little bit more to make me laugh.
Yeah.
I'd laugh more at a Looney Tunes cartoon. I love cartoons.
Yeah.
But it's too slapstick for me, I guess.
Yeah, like holding a guy upside down out the window, which was a funny moment, and then they turn the camera right side up. I mean, that's great and all, but probably not.
You know, the part that was funny there was the dry delivery.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
But, I'm sorry.
Oh, he's very good at that.
I like that part. I mean, I'm not going to say I hated everything. It just...
Yeah.
And they were good acting. They all did their part amazing. Like every single one of them acted it beautifully.
Okay.
Everybody did a great job.
As good as Kevin Kline's a great actor. He's not just a good actor; he's a great actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I buy him as the big old tough agent guy. That's
He's
everyone's ass. Like
I think he's just.
It's not his fault. I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm just saying, like him in that role. I don't see him as the guy who would just annihilate everybody. That's all.
I know. He looks too nice and lovable. Yeah.
It's not his fault. I'm talking about looking at him as a person. The build, the look, everything. Just, it's acting. I get it. He's a great actor. I just didn't buy that part. That's all.
Well, his psychosis was so weird because he would meditate to calm himself down, but if something woke him up, he shot it. And to me, that's, he was at one point where he's meditating, he's got the whole Om thing, and then somebody knocks on the door and he takes out a gun and like with a silencer and like shoots through things and goes, and then he puts it away. And so to me, that's cartoonishly, that's cartoon. That's a cartoon thing.
Yeah.
Like no normal person does that.
Which is
nobody.
Fine. It could be what they were aiming for.
I know, and that's what I'm getting at is that, and that's I think my point is that there were so many things that when this movie came out, you only had so many options, right? So let's think of like, why was it funny then?
Yeah.
Because I went into theater and people were guffawing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to fly. And I think because you only had so many options. So you went to go see a comedy and it was, Kevin Kline driving on the wrong side of the road in Britain and yelling asshole. That's kind of funny. As a running joke, they did it like 5 times. Like, I remember when I saw it, like the first time he said asshole because he was in the wrong side. He was in the wrong. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then every other time he did it, I laughed harder. But that's not today. Back when I was in, the 9th grade, which I thought, whatever. Anyway, I don't know. I just don't, I don't think because you have more comedy options, people aren't buying into this. And us, we're not buying into it anymore. That's all. That's what I think. But
I think it just takes more to make people laugh nowadays.
Yeah, and especially us. Yeah.
I'm sure there are people that still treasure this and will laugh crazy, like over this, and that's fine. I went to, my wife worked at a movie theater, and I went and saw, like, because it was there, in a packed theater, and this movie lasted a long time in the theater, the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And I
love that movie.
Everybody losing their mind behind me, and I was going, yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah,
okay.
my daughter likes it too, and I don't even know if I've ever watched it.
I'm not.
It's cute.
I'm talking about niche. Like it's like
sure.
I think I did watch it once, but again,
my Big Fat Greek Wedding. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to steal your thunder here, Jay, but I know because my wife and I watch it once a year. She loves the movie, and I can deal with it once a year. Moonstruck also very good, but my Big Fat Greek Wedding was like it hit some nerve. In the public, that movie made $1 gazillion. Like it made so much friggin' money on no budget. So it was like one of the most successful movies for a long, just in terms of profit margin, huge. And for whatever reason, it hit the zeitgeist, and it just people kept going to see it. Or like Titanic. Like they would go to see it, and then it would lull, and then people would go back again and keep going to see My Big Fat Greek Wedding over and over. It was in the zeitgeist. It just hit people's nerve, and I think A Fish Called Wanda was that. It wasn't as successful as My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
No, but you kind of get where I'm going. And I don't hate My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but I'm not going to reach out and play it either.
Right.
Like my wife would, but I'm saying. I'm just remember sitting in the theater, people were cackling behind, like just losing their minds. I mean, I live in a very predominantly Jewish town.
Okay.
And they, I think, relate to the similarities of culture that was going on in My Big Fat Greek, and so they were losing their minds over it.
That's
my
wife.
I just remember going.
Yeah, that's Joanne's thing on that, is that she's like a heavily Italian-American family. And so the similarities are very close. Like in her Italian-American family, like they had a store that everybody in the family worked at, like that sort of thing, right? So the nuances of that whole aesthetic and how everybody's in everybody's business and whatnot. So I think people identified with it. And that was my point with British humor. Like we're coming off of a wave of British humor that I think people were still digging, and now I just don't think it's a thing anymore. But I don't know. You want to do trivia?
Sure.
Sorry, everybody. This is going to be a shorter one.
Yeah, that's okay.
We're a little on the press for time deal.
That is not much to say.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. I feel like there wasn't really that much to say because honestly, after I watched it, even though I guess you guys are saying there is a lot going on, I don't feel like there was enough going on. Like, I know there's one guy's in jail trying to get out. And, that they had robbed a bank and they're trying to get the money for it or whatever. But really, the entire movie just is around, like, love triangles and trying to, like, I don't know. It
backstabbing people.
Wasn't that much to talk about, really.
I think the reason I'm saying there was too much going on, it's like Chris trying to explain it.
Yeah.
Like, trying not to drool with boredom, like, on his like, okay, and then
it's okay.
And then, right, and I was like, holy shit, that's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And I promise you, someone who listens to this podcast or is watching it, that has not seen it, will probably do the same.
Yeah, like,
and
what?
It's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
Yeah.
You're trying your hardest to piece all those pieces together, and I'm going, I don't know. Like,
it's
just
really convoluted. It's leaning on the comedy to make the story make sense. And to me, I mean, the comedy was funnier then. So now it kind of falls apart because it's like, well, the story's really mixed up. And so we're leaning on the comedy to make me keep watching and paying attention. And the fact of the matter is, like, well, it's not as funny as it used to be. So, I don't know. So, anywho, I'd love to. I don't know any trivia on this. I'm actually like kind of intrigued.
Okay, so I've got some good stuff.
Wait. We're gonna do the music. My favorite part. Guys, don't take that from me.
It's time for TMI with Melanie.
Listen to this. I am in the bathroom right before the movie starts. And I'm in the stall, and there's no toilet paper.
And mine are at home in a display case above my bed.
TMI, my friends.
It's just
TMI? Too much
I used to say
information.
don't go there, but that's lame.
Now, here's Melanie with your timeless movie info.
All right, Melanie.
Hit it.
Let's swim with this one.
Let's go.
I have the funniest thing for last.
Okay.
I'll say that for last. Okay. A Fish Called Wanda had a 7.5 million gross, budget.
Yeah.
And it grossed hugely, 188.6 million. The producers were worried about how this film would perform at the box office in the U.S. because it was a British-made set comedy with a British director and a writer. So they used the budget very carefully. It took John Cleese and director Charles Crichton 4 years to get the film made to persuade MGM to take a chance on it. Fortunately, it did very, very well and made a quite a tidy profit for those involved because they were very careful with the budget.
Sure.
The movie was number 6 on Roger Ebert's list of best films of 1988.
Wow.
This is one of 2 movies released in 1988, which the main villain is run over with a steamroller and survives. The other being Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael Palin's father stuttered, so Palin used a lot of his real-life experiences when playing Ken Pyle, including the fact that Ken's stutter is less pronounced around people he trusts and worse around people that he's uncomfortable with. Also, he noted that a lot of people who stutter do not stutter when they're talking to animals. After the movie, Michael Palin founded the London Center for Stammering Children after a group of stutterers confronted him regarding the sensitivity with which he dealt with Ken Pyle's handicap in this movie. Archie Leach's daughter, Portia, was played by John Cleese, John Cleese's daughter in real life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jamie Lee Curtis buried, and I looked for this and I still didn't see her doing like laughing much, but it said Jamie Lee Curtis has buried her face in pillows during Kevin Kline's ejaculation scene to keep her from bursting out laughing at his face.
That's because you only saw her feet.
Oh, okay.
So she was off camera, but those were her feet.
Okay. So apparently the faces that he was making when he was doing that cracked her up.
Okay. They were pretty silly.
Yeah. This you can see this, but I didn't see her laughing for this. It says Jamie has pointed out in several shots that she can be seen cracking up. For example, when Wanda and Otto have their argument on the dockside, to call you stupid would be an insult to stupid people.
Yeah. That's a good line.
Yeah.
I like that line.
Yeah. Actor, executive producer, and writer John Cleese chose the name Archie Leach, Cary Grant's real name.
That's right. Archibald Leach, yeah.
Yeah, because he was born 20 miles away from where Grant was born in England, and because it was the closest John Cleese could get to being Grant. Jamie Lee Curtis was listed as Jamie Lee Schwartz on all of her call sheets as a joke from John Cleese because Jamie's father, Tony Curtis's real name was Bernard Schwartz. I never knew that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Tougher name.
Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis claimed that John Cleese was a poor kisser in the early kissing scenes, and his response was that he was kissing in character. I'm like, and I say, sure.
Yeah, sure.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. The fish that Kevin Kline ate were made out of Jell-O. Kline claims that he offered to eat live fish. Is he nuts? But the filmmakers would not let him.
Yeah.
Kevin Kline begged actor and executive producer and writer John Cleese to let Otto speak French. And that's why I said French by an accident. Because he actually can speak French. But they would not let him. It had to be Italian.
Okay.
Okay. So when John Cleese is being dangled out of the window, and I was looking at the people in the back there, he was forced to apologize and he was hanging out of the window. The public was not aware of what was being filmed, and they were a little confused and shocked.
Cool.
Let's see. During the robbery, it was really Kevin Kline who shot the crossbow at the censor. When this movie aired on television in the U.S., many stations deleted the chips up the nostril scene, deeming it insensitive to individuals with mental impairments. That's a joke. It was just French fries.
Yeah.
I mean, and it wasn't like saying that somebody had a mental impairment. The other guy stuck them up the nose to like screw with him, you know what I mean? Until that he couldn't breathe. Like,
did they keep the Jamie Lee Curtis Russian scene?
Right, they did.
Yeah, so I don't.
That was so stupid.
Whatever. All right, you bet.
All right, this is the only thing I have left, and I thought this was pretty funny. Well, it was kind of crazy, but all right. In 1989, when this movie was shown in theaters in Denmark, a Danish man named Ole Benzen literally laughed himself to death during the scene when Ken Pyle gets chips, French fries, put up his nose. His heart rate went between 250 and 500 beats per minute.
What?
Yeah, and he eventually died of cardiac arrest. But his son explains why.
Okay.
So his son explained that his father made a joke a few years earlier during their dinner, where he put a piece of cauliflower up his and I can see why he did this to why he would laugh himself that hard. So as a joke, okay, so it says he put cauliflower in his and every family's members' noses as a joke and made a bet to them who could eat their carrots without the cauliflower falling out? So when the scene with Ken Pyle and the chips came up, he started thinking about that dinner joke, and he laughed so hard that his heart stopped.
I think he was probably already kind of primed for a heart attack.
Yeah.
Oh, sure,
That's going to be my guess.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Right.
that pushed it over the edge because he was, I mean, that's kind of a nice way to go, though, laughing to death.
Yeah. If they were away, sure.
Yeah. And it said the story has spread so much that now it's almost considered what they would call an urban legend, but it's 100% true.
All right.
I just thought I was like, wow, that's kind of neat.
I wonder
Fish
if
Called Wanda. You'll die laughing.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I wonder how many other victims lay at the feet of A Fish Called Wanda.
I don't think any others.
Oh, yeah, all right. All right.
Here we go.
It's time now for final judgment. Are you ready to rubber stamp this bitch? Here's the final judgment.
All right, it's time for final judgment where we talk about fact, not opinion, or opinion, not fact. It's up to you. Let's talk about how well this movie holds up today. I think we've tipped our hands a little.
Yeah, a little bit.
No,
go ahead, Jay.
I don't think it does. I just think it does feel dated. It looks old. It feels.
Yeah.
I think it's strictly for maybe if you're a diehard British fan, maybe. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to say nobody will. I'm just saying I don't feel like it does, though. Though they did come out with a sequel.
Oh,
I
did
was
they?
wondering. Yeah.
Fierce Creatures, it's called. As far as I know, it's a sequel.
All right.
Did it do good? Do you know? Did it do good?
I don't know. It wasn't. I don't have my stuff. It wasn't right away. Let me see if I can pull it up.
I'll get it. Keep going.
Okay. Go ahead. But I'm 90% sure it's a sequel. But I mean, so I'm not saying nobody will. I just personally feel like it does.
Yeah.
And the little reasons like that. But
I wouldn't call it a sequel. It's just got the same people in it.
Oh well.
Oh.
Hold on. No, it's just got the same people in it.
It's
John Cleese and Jamie Lee Curtis and Kevin Kline and Michael Palin play 4 different people.
Oh, that's so weird.
So they're just trying to. I don't know what they're doing.
That's
so
weird.
yeah, they bought a zoo. They basically bought a zoo. So
They
that's
probably
it.
figured because the first movie did so well that maybe the cast again together would,
Right. So
you can at least see why I thought so.
Oh sure.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
So I don't think it holds up. I don't think it holds up because it was popular back in the day. I think it hit a nerve. I think it was a type of comedy people hadn't seen yet. I think it was a little bit different. But now, there's so many options. I think we've all kind of seen funnier things, so that now this kind of gets put in the back burner. I don't think, while you do have to be, if you're going to watch it, you don't have to be a Monty Python fan. It's not that outrageous.
Yeah.
But it's going towards it. So that's what you need to be ready for. And you have to be ready for Brits making fun of their own Britishness. And I think that's what John Cleese is trying to do. And it was successful back in the day, but now I don't think people really. You got to wait for it to come back. Like if that sort of humor comes back, then you might like it again. But everything kind of comes in waves. So
maybe
I don't know.
It will hold up.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe maybe it's got to ferment more. I don't know, but
no,
I think
when that British humor comes back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So who knows? Who knows? So Melanie,
I'm gonna say no, and I don't want to say no just because I didn't really care for it, because we can't do that. But it does look very, very aged, very old. I just think it would take unless like you guys were saying that, or Jay was saying that if it was like. If you love British comedy, you'd probably still like it. And you might want to watch it just because you love the actors and actresses so well. And they did such a good job with the role, with their roles. So it might hold up for that. And I'm sure people that did love it back then might still love it now. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't recommend it to anybody because I just honestly don't think it would hold their interest.
Okay.
Well enough nowadays. People have a very short attention span. I just think, it was considered cute. They might find a couple parts of it cute, but not enough that I would want to recommend it to someone. So I'm going to say no, it doesn't.
I think if you like the actors, you should watch it.
Yeah.
If you don't, it might be a hard sell.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what I think.
I also wanted to say, and you guys probably know that, what's his name? Is it Kevin Kline?
Kevin Kline.
Yeah, is married to Phoebe Cates, which I learned during this.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's very good. You guys,
They've been together
see In
for
and
a
Out?
while.
Guys, did you ever see In and Out?
Yeah,
that sounds familiar.
That's a great movie. Kevin Kline's in that one. It's a very good movie.
Yeah, it sounds
he doesn't realize he's gay, I think, or he doesn't want to admit it. I thought
He's struggling with his own sexuality. He
Right.
knows he's gay, but he won't come out and say it.
Mm.
And he just
That
needs
sounds
to come
familiar.
to terms with his own sexuality. Kind of.
There's a very funny scene where he's trying a audio tape to sound masculine.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, really?
he's listening to the thing, and he's like, and you can hear the guy saying, "All right, say hot damn," and he's like, "Dude," and he's like, "What a fabulous window treatment! What a fabulous!" And he goes, "That was a trick."
Oh.
That was a trick. Oh, yeah.
That sounds familiar, that whole line that you just said, so I had to have seen it.
It's
It was
good.
fun.
It's good.
Yeah.
They
Tom
bring-
Selleck is in it without a mustache.
Mhm.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
It's
Frank
very-
Oz.
Will Brimley's in it.
Frank Oz did was the director, I think.
He did direct it, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good.
And Frank Oz is the guy who played Bert and Fozzie Bear and
Yoda.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, all right.
Hey. And this
Sorry, guys. Hope we didn't bore you too much with this one.
was brought to you by the Muppets.
Yeah.
I love the Muppets.
So, anyways, that was our coverage. I hope we didn't piss all of you off.
I know. I hate saying something doesn't hold up. You guys know that. I hate that.
No.
I feel bad.
It just wasn't. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it that much. I'm sorry, everybody. But anyways, well, hopefully you still enjoyed our coverage of A Fish Called Wanda, and if not, I promise you'll like something in the future. But I'd like to thank Steve Lavoie for our vocal imaging and Draco and the Malfoys for our theme music. And until next time, movies may not age like fine wine, but we drink it. Bye.